How's it going for you? Last time I saw you, you were still working. Oh, maybe not. No, I guess it.
Yeah.
Free Wi-Fi here?
Yeah, public. My Presidente.
Our next interchange, battery company. Actually, the original building I was in. Literally across the street. We're now over at 12. Yeah, that's a trip. To start up. I miss all the reason I'm going to the show there is where I gave you your profile, so
Sign in?
Sign in.
I figured it out. Sorry.
Well, no.
You're just thinking about it. Made it come back.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that?
I said we haven't had this many people at a meeting in a long time.
I know.
You know who the second signer is on the club check account?
Oh, no.
Isn't it Presidente?
I don't know.
He was part of that whole,
I think it is.
blow up in 2020. You know, it's sort of like, no.
Do you want me to? I'll give you the, or you're checking the participants? Okay. You'll need the, how many we have on Zoom for quorum.
I don't know how many people here already. We get 33.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mike, one problem that I'm seeing when I'm connected to this, it's not recognizing my camera. I don't know if that's a big deal.
No.
I mean, I can just, right. I was gonna say, I find that very offensive, Mike. I mean, I brought an external camera. I could point out that way, but. Just make sure the volume on the, speakers is loud enough. Testing. Can people hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
Full quieting.
Thank you. I might have plugged that.
So if you hit that and then hit the slider, and it should ding.
Because we're starting.
Oh.
It worked. Presidente told me to do that.
doing their own check work on that.
7 o'clock, yeah.
Right there. One ping?
Yeah, although they're trying to get into home energy storage space and trying to get into cell manufacturing.
Yeah.
I can't tell if he's brilliant or nuts. We got enough investors, bankrolls, and everything, that everybody's being paid for.
Did you see once Marty is ready, we'll just ask him to do a quick introduction for himself, just introduce his name and everything. And I'll dial it in. It's a hair trigger. It's extremely sensitive.
Do you want me to introduce him now or?
Yeah, let's.
No.
These guys.
We'll wait till everyone's in.
Okay. Hey Barney, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, so President Mike is getting ready here to open this, and he'll open the meeting, and then we'll introduce you, and then just ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself to start.
Okay.
But hold on, and we'll be right.
I've got my screen up. We'll just have to find it. I'll just have to find it. That's all.
One thing we are having some issues with, you won't see any video from me because of the way we're connected to the TV in the room.
Well, we're trying to work out that same solution. We are having our meeting tomorrow night, and this is the second time we're trying to Zoom in a larger room, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
Between getting the audio right and some video going, it's tough.
Yep. You should hear me, but if you don't, I will have my chat window open as well. And that goes for anybody that has any questions during the meeting.
Okay. I probably won't pay. If you're something in the chat window, call my attention to it, because I probably won't be paying attention to it, to be honest.
I'll do that.
That seems to work better from ones I've done, not being the presenter, but being the one watching the chat rooms. I've done that a number of times.
26 signed in.
And I hear people in the room, so.
Easily, yeah.
Did everybody sign in when you came in?
Hey, Mike, Presidente. I keep losing the audio.
Can I sign in, even though I'm not a member yet?
Sign in, yes. Place for guests.
I'm getting the video. I had to plug my microphone back in, but it should be sharing to that now.
When an audio device goes away,
Yes.
God, I think that was it. All right. All right.
If anybody has not gotten their membership card for this year, it's over on the table, as well as anybody that's a new member that has not gotten their name back. Yes.
Good evening.
How are you?
I didn't realize. Did the collision happen?
Last I heard, I was waiting to hear if it did. I haven't heard yet.
I'm gonna have to go look and see.
Yes, I didn't have one over there.
Something a new member had to sign up for?
Sign-in sheets right there. Yep.
If you're referring to the asteroid, that's supposed to happen at 7:14.
Thank you. I knew it was getting close to that.
Yeah.
We have to see if we can stream it. How are you today, sir?
Pretty good.
I'm surprised they still have a voice. They did 96 hours last week. Yeah.
Okay, your call sign is W.
There we go. There we go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Are we gonna have a break? No.
Did you go through the list of people on Zoom and indicate which ones were members? Oh, okay.
Well, let's see. I know Robin is, I know Rick is,
Andy,
Andy,
Marcia, Mike's here. Don't count him twice. Mike's next to me, but he's on the list.
Marcia is.
Barney's the presenter. He's not.
I also noticed that I can't turn screen sharing on either.
Oh,
You should have gotten it earlier in the year.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Kind of know that you're coming.
Yeah, okay. Yes, ma'am.
you should be able to share, Barney, in just a second.
Okay, I just was mentioning,
Membership expired back in March.
trying to avoid technical issues once I started.
And 3 times. I sent out an email to your email address 3 times.
We're kind of balancing our audio here too.
Response from you at least once. I have a response from you once. Yes. So
I get to go through this tomorrow night at our meeting.
you're gonna have to reply. Yes, because you are delinquent, you're over, your membership expired in March, and so you will have to reapply and the board will have to vote on your membership. So, it's fine, I don't expect to be any problem with it. Right now, we cannot, I cannot wait for that. Send me an email.
And go the opposite sides of Maze Runner across.
Yep. That's right.
His buddy has real similar interests.
I just give you an app.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Stephen, new member.
Gordon Scannell.
Gordon, let me. Do you have a copy of the minutes, things that we'll be going over today? Oh.
Yep.
This is him.
Thanks.
Full wire for the lights the other day.
Mhm.
He just loves that stuff.
Kathy,
So I have one there, the other day,
Peter Lee just joined.
Yes,
I did.
Yeah. So, go get a lawyer's degree too.
Who's got? Who?
LARC Sept. Oh, yeah, there it is. Everybody up there. Yep. Everybody up there.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, police can charge you what they want, if you're desperate, we'll pay it. The guy, rainwater was back in the basement, he was gonna give up, and I said, listen. I don't care what it's gonna cost me.
Got one more.
Try a little bit more.
Stephen,
I don't wanna do it. I just wanna reach out.
he just joined.
We got.
You did actually clear it.
What's that?
Unfortunately, on the sanitary side, the foundation. They had a great picture of a kid down in the shop.
Yeah, I got a note from Zach saying, oh, I'm not gonna be able to make it.
He kind of had me a little frazzled because he was the one that tested the internet.
Oh,
No, but I brought the cups because I didn't have any bowls.
one minute.
I'm keeping my eye on it.
Can't find the one that can.
Is anybody recording who's up there?
Mhm.
Is anybody recording who's up there?
Mike,
Yeah, I got both of them doing it. I got my daughter doing it too.
I just wanted to make sure the people in there were members to get you a count of members on that are there. And then Sandy's up here.
Yeah.
I was older.
Does she get 2 votes?
No.
Radio Shack. Kids sort of- Oh, the gun. Yeah, it's just the melting torch.
There's the whole list. I don't think you saw the top of the list because I had the chat window open underneath. But I mean, we had more.
Yep. At this point, we'll see. No.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. A lot bigger turnout than we've had in the past, but I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Hopefully everyone was on the air this summer break. And I know at least half a dozen of you I've talked to on the air, so that's good. That'll look good in our on the air report tonight. We'll jump right into some announcements. We're always looking for presentation ideas. If there's something that you guys want to see, and especially if there's something that you want to present to the club, let us know. Every once in a while, someone will come back and say, hey, we'd like to do a back to basics or an antenna building. If there's something on your mind that you'd like to do in a group setting, or especially a presentation you'd like to give, let us know and we can see if we can accommodate it. Breakfast continue at 8 o'clock at the Senate Coney Island on Plymouth and Stark. Only volunteers for the LARC 2-meter net. Please reach out to Mr. Hero, Alpha Delta 8 Alpha Echo. Please go on QRZ if you're able to assist with that. And at the end of the agenda here on the backside, if you take a look, the monthly homework topic. Winter is coming. It's all about winterizing your station and some considerations for that. You don't want to be caught up on the roof in December. Trust me. All right, tonight's presentation. Topic we've been trying to get on the list for. I'm Italian. I can project. I'm off the line. Check 1, 2.
No.
Check 1, 2.
Turn it on for you.
I don't know.
I don't know, there's just people over there on the TV want to be able to hear it too.
Check 1, 2. Oh, hey, all right.
Can you hear us, Peter?
All right, so tonight's presentation is a topic we've been trying to get on the list for a long time. As you all know, we've had a lot of different groups reach out to the club over the years. They have someone in the family that's SK or a friend, and they don't know what to do with the station and the equipment. They essentially come to us looking to see, what is this stuff? Is it worth anything? Should I keep it? Who do I give it to? That sort of thing. So this is a topic we've been looking to get on the list for a long time, and we're finally getting it out here. We're glad to have Barney with us, Kilo 3 Lima Alpha. I'm talking about some considerations with SK Estates. Barney, I'll pass the mic over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for inviting me tonight. I'm not usually on this side of the camera, so please bear with me. My name is Barney Scholl. I have been licensed since the summer of 1963, so you can figure out how long that's been. I was originally licensed as KN3, as ZFP. I decided to change my call a long time ago. Over the years, I've done a little bit of everything in amateur radio. I've tried most everything, not some of the things like satellites or moon bounce, but I had a good chance to operate once as ST2LA in Khartoum, Sudan. I was on the air for 4 hours over there. And I've also operated with K3LR, his contest station here in Western Pennsylvania. Lived here all my life, and that's sort of my amateur radio hobby. I've done a little bit of everything. I have a little station at home, just a 70-foot tower and a couple of antennas on it. As far as trying to think what else to tell you about myself, on the other side of my life is I graduated from law school and came back to Sharon to practice law. I've been practicing law since 1974, so that's what, 48 years. And I put this together, this presentation together for the law forum at Dayton Hamfest or Hamvention. And I thought it was a good idea. I'd been asking or suggesting we do it for a couple of years down there. I've been involved in that forum for a couple of years and presenting, and I ran it 1 year, but finally they said, let's try it last year. So I put this together. And when I first put it together, it was told I had 7 minutes or 8 minutes to do it. So I tailored that original presentation, which is online. And this one is also, at the end of it, I have a link, which is, it worked the other night. So if you want to get a copy of this, it is available. You can write it down at the end of the presentation, or send me an email and I will respond. So I sort of lengthened it a little bit over the weekend to put a little bit more in it. And sometimes I think at times like this, I try to ask more questions than I can, than I provide answers to. I have 3 pages of resources that provide an awful lot of information about the more of the particulars how to sell equipment. I will mention a little bit about that, but there are a lot of ways to do it. So if I can, and I'm open to questions anytime, and I will try to watch my time, or if I drag on too long, someone stop me. If I can share my screen, I hope, and if I get the right screen, I'll be lucky. Doesn't look, I don't know, does that show up now?
Not yet.
Oh, how about if I click there?
There we go.
What's
Hooray.
up? Is it a title on it?
Yep.
Okay, let's see if it changes now. That's a bigger secret. Nope. I may have to get into the PowerPoint window now. Okay, let's try that. Aha, that works. Did that change, I hope?
Yep.
Okay. I mentioned 3 things to remember from this presentation. Clean things out and organize. And then of course, there's always the standard legal comment about is not legal or tax advice. Talk to your local lawyer and accountant or financial advisor. Now, I wish I could see your hands. I was going to start this out by asking how many people don't have wills, but I can't see your audience anyhow, so I can't ask that question, but that's something to keep in mind. I'm sort of addressed this to him, is no longer interested or able to use, can be part of estate planning, which is probably as much as what I'm going to talk about. If someone dies, which often happens, if useful information to someone who handles the estate. The executor, for those unfamiliar, is the person, could be called an executor, administrator, or personal representative, depending on what state you're in, is whose job it is to settle estate, or as I say, collect the assets, pay the bills, and distribute the proceeds. And I talk a little bit about ways to sell amateur radio equipment. I have to start any presentation like this that the important things, whether you're talking about amateur radio or anything else, as a general power of attorney, a will or a will and a trust, and a healthcare power of attorney. Those are, especially the power of attorney. Most states have a generic will if you don't have a will, but most states do not have a default power of attorney. And I can give examples of many instances of estates with problems if people don't have a will. I mean, I deal with them fairly regularly, of issues that arise that things go differently than people really wanted to expect. And why this is important, and especially true in amateur radio, because at least most amateurs I know are collectors. And anytime you have a collection of things, I don't care whether it's, they're one of the sources of information. I believe they were talking about tractors. I have an estate right now we're still trying to resolve, involved railroad memorabilia between model trains, books, magazines, items, and it has been going on for longer than it should, just to try to resolve these things. And the other thing that most people sometimes fail to appreciate, that is a lot of things, especially collections, they're only valuable if you can find someone who wants them. I think about QST magazines. And
my plan is,
yes,
works great and how I need it to work. My plan is to quit smoking this weekend.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how that fits in with this.
Go ahead, Barney.
Okay, I just wondered where the comment came out of.
I
Okay,
presume he's trying to hold off on when somebody would have to make these decisions after he's gone. He doesn't want to leave soon.
yes. Got my train of thought there a little bit, but saying collectibles, unless you find someone who wants things, sometimes they can be hard to get rid of. Things like even furniture anymore. What I'm being told recently is furniture is almost worthless. Unless you have something extremely rare. A lot of times we end up having someone to basically clean out a house, and for the cost of cleaning out, they'll get a little bit out of it, but sometimes it costs almost as much to clean a place out as to what's in the house. Doesn't sound right, but it happens. In a general sense, what has to be done when someone passes away? We have to sell, donate, or recycle electronic equipment, dismantle towers, antennas, and often I've run into homes that have things built into them. I saw a presentation a couple of years ago. I believe it was at Visalia DX convention, where they're talking about someone who had done a lot of microwave VHF equipment, and he had his feed lines, everything else literally built into the house. I can't imagine what that's like. Or I mentioned earlier, Tim, K3LR, there you have a case where he has, if you're not familiar with his station, the thing of it is he has 2 towers over 200 feet high. I don't know what he has, 11 or 12 rotors, or more, maybe more on the various towers. I can't imagine what it's going to take to dismantle his station. Luckily, he's younger than I am, so I hope I won't have to deal with it. But that's an example of not everyone's station like that, but it does come into play. we should be notifying the FCC that someone's deceased. And these topics I'm going to hit after I go over them this way. We should report the passing of the ARL for getting put in QST. And the question is, does your family have knowledge to do all this? And of course, it all depends on how much stuff we have. Recently, I've run into one particular couple of weeks ago. Someone died, was in their apartment, living alone. They didn't know he died for 7 days. And the apartment was wall-to-wall stuff, believe it or not. And that created it's been an interesting challenge. Talking about equipment. Family may not have any idea of the value of the equipment. They're unscrupulous people who are going to try to get something for nothing. And at some point, the decision has to be made. Is your concern how to value the equipment, to sell it, or you're going to scrap it or do a donation for it? No matter what you do, you have to come up with some way of figuring out what the value is worth. And again, as I said, collectibles, there can be, we think there's an unlimited market, but if you think about the entire population, amateurs are not a large percentage of the population. Remember that amateur equipment can depreciate like a car as soon as you buy them. The value is determined primarily by supply and demand. Obviously, old Drake equipment, old Collins equipment might have a higher value because of being a collectible, where other things may not. Remember that everything that is removable from the operating position without breaking it may have some financial value. Depends on how much. I'm thinking I have one of my amateur radio friends, KMR, has had a chance this summer to help clean out one ham who died. It's been sort of his project all summer long. And he's been taking boxes of stuff to different ham fests, to different ham gatherings. And luckily, he's willing to do it for probably not a great financial return. He's taken stuff to Michigan. He's sold stuff in New Jersey and Pennsylvania and been able to deliver a lot of it. He's sort of making it a project. He's retired. And there's also the cost, and that can be the financial cost or the time and energy cost to get rid of them, to clean things out and get rid of them. As I said, solutions for equipment, you either sell, you donate them, or even recycle them by throwing away. A lot of auction availabilities if you want to auction stuff off, eBay, maybe Craigslist. I ran across a place called Caring Transitions, which appears to be a franchise across the country. And how I ran into them, someone locally was advertising amateur radio equipment on that site. So it's a company that specializes in cleaning out estates, estate sales, cleaning out homes, and obviously they are willing to deal with amateur radio equipment. I will mention later, there is one company that I'm aware of that deals specifically in amateur radio, and I'll mention that, and I have a link to them later on. You have local or online sites, Hamfest, eHam, QTH are all places to sell things. You can sell collections to potentially a dealer, broker, a consignment place, or you can sell things yourself. If you're hiring a third party, make sure you have a written contract and you understand it. Being an attorney, I'll say anytime you sign a contract, you should make sure you understand it. If not, ask questions. And if that doesn't get you anywhere, go hire an attorney. It's cheaper to hire an attorney to help you understand a contract than to hire him to solve a problem later. As I mentioned before, things removable from the operating position may have some financial value. One of the things that Jim, KMR, does is he has been cleaning out this stuff. Often what he does is if it's something that can be repaired, he'll take a little bit of effort to make sure it's working. He was telling me he replaced a power supply for something, so increase the value. If you have someone who's willing to take the time and energy to do that, it will increase the value. So I ran across the comment about having original box in good condition and the paperwork manuals. Obviously, you can keep all that stuff together where people can find it. It makes a lot more sense. That comment also reminded me of one of my own situations about, it's been 20 years ago. I had, my grandmother was moving out of her house, and my grandmother's basement had collected a lot of things from my childhood. And I found someone who's willing to he took a carload of this stuff to an auction or a flea market. And one of the things that he sold that I couldn't believe was I had a number of plastic models that I put together growing up. And I had the models, and then I had several shopping bags full of boxes from the models. And I couldn't believe, remember, this was 20 years ago, he was selling the model, just the boxes, for like $2 a piece, which sort of really amazed me. Like anything else, when you sell something yourself, how do you set the price? Hopefully you can find someone to do it. One of the things our club has done is we've had people donate things to our club. Luckily, we have one member in our club who does a lot of flea market selling. And what we have done is we've given him the equipment. People donate it to us. We give it to him. He takes the flea market. He takes a cut and then gives the rest of the money back to the club. Some of the bigger items the club has sold ourselves. Club, if is able to take a donation, that's great. And then it can make money. Remember, there's a time and cost to shipping and packaging and shipping everything. I found this chart in one of the presentations, which I'll mention where it came from. It's a comparison of different ways to sell, and based on speed, effort, and the cost. And just different methods to sell. And a ham-fest or slower, you've got to haul things around. Takes more effort, medium return. So those are someone else's opinion of the different strengths and weaknesses of different ways of selling. If a family is not as concerned about the money it requires from the equipment, there's also always donating equipment. I know that the ARL will take equipment. A lot of local clubs will take equipment individually. I don't know how eBay got stuck in there as far as donating equipment. I'm not sure. I did this all yesterday or Sunday afternoon. I really didn't get a good chance to go through it. Another way to look at it is you may be able to find, if you wanted to keep the entire station intact if you want to donate. Be it a local high school club, college clubs, all might be sources if you want to donate a station in whole. Reminders, if you donate to a 501c3 charitable organization, please consult with your tax advisor to make sure you can deduct it. And if you do, the organization will not set a price for you. All they will do is they will acknowledge if it's over $250, they will acknowledge they received it. It's up to you to set the price for your donation. Again, challenges of manpower, often local clubs. I have come across clubs that have a group who have volunteered to do this, and when someone passes away, they will take it over and deal with it. As I say, our local club has one person who's willing to do it, and we've used that on several occasions. When you talk about recycling, don't forget there is often a cost to recycle. You can't put that CRT tube in the trash, and sometimes you can only certain places will take certain items. I have found around here that often local groups will have special collection for electronic equipment for free. Often you'll have to pay for it too. So that's another consideration. moving on to the towers, antennas, cables, and build-ins. The one thing I have a friend, W3YQ, who is a professional climber, and I've discussed with him, we've had a number of conversations about the best way to take things down. And often he says that it may have limited salvage value. And we've had friends who have gotten injured on towers that were older, trying to take them down. And I often hear that often the best way is to almost just let the tower tip over and fall on the ground. The risk of an older installation may not be worth it. And even if you take stuff down, the value is not as great as you think it is. Comment often if you have a special desk, something built in that is not going to be as easy to get rid of. And it may be physically just getting it out of the house might be the hard thing. And then the other thing to think about is restoration of the space for family use. In other words, I'll give you an example. I moved about 20 years ago, and I had probably about 6 to 10 yards of concrete for a self-supporting tower in the yard. When I moved, I moved the tower, but I left the concrete in the yard, sort of covered it up. And, but I hope no one ever wants to dig that up. I think they might be surprised, but that is a consideration. All the anything unique we have in our home, if you go to sell that home someday, you need to think about what it's going to take, both energy and cost, to get everything out of the house. So a normal person the average person would want to buy the house. Again, it's going back to somewhat the same solutions, volunteers, local clubs. You can even hire a commercial tower climber, get for a quote price before you get them. And I suppose you could always sell the house as a package. I've seen ads for certain areas of the country where someone had, I think in Florida, I saw one recently that someone had a house and a station for sale. Those are going to be far between probably of the people who want those. And again, remember the cost, especially with towers, the cost may be greater than the value of the property. Some things you can dismantle and sell, 10-year-old coax. What's 10-year-old coax worth? If an antenna has been up 10 years in the air, although I must admit, my own example, I have a Cushcraft tome at 40-meter beam it's on the ground. It's going to go back up this summer or fall. And I am the third owner of that beam. And a beam is probably 30 some years old. And it's been up in the air 3 times now. And it's going to go back up, and it's still surviving. Moving on to the comment about notifying the FCC. It has to be in writing, and they have specific information must be included, can be scanned and uploaded, and there is a link on ARL has a page of more details on how to do that. Likewise, ARL has a form to fill out, and again, specific information must be included. And again, I've included a link to their webpage about that. Generally, other solutions rely on volunteers or friends as we come back to that. The one company that I'm aware of called hamestate.com, and the way they work is you pay them a monthly fee. You join them, you pay them a monthly fee. They come out, I believe they come out, look at the equipment ahead of time. Then when someone passes away and they need to clear out the equipment, they will come in, dismantle everything, sell everything, and they will give you the proceeds minus a commission. So in a sense, you're paying them twice. You're paying them up front to evaluate things, and then when it's time to clean things out. At one time, I understood that someone up in the Erie, Pennsylvania area was doing something, but I tried to find information about his site and I could not find it. I've often thought you encourage a spouse or partner to get in the amateur radio. About 10 years ago, my wife decided that she would get her license. So maybe if I go first, she'll want to keep the equipment there to use it. So it won't be until she passes away. Another, and I've run into this in a case, I won't say whom, but I was part of a discussion of a amateur that really wanted to sell the property as a station, and he was willing to fund a trust to create a club station for a local club or for research. But that is probably, there are probably a few of those across the country, but probably not a lot. Some general things to think about. You can give written instructions to, I'm getting into when you do your wills, to try to simplify your instructions and your desires. It should be they should be in writing, and they should probably be included in your legal documents. I've seen cases where people could designate a separate, again, executive personal representative for the amateur radio equipment. If you're going to do anything, like obviously list the items. If you have a concern of particular things, list the items and decide recipients, whether you're going to pay the executor, and whether anyone would have a right of purchasing the equipment first. Some of the hints to organizing: organize and label all your stuff, make an inventory. Can be done while you're alive, makes it a lot easier if you pass away, and make sure the inventory is available to people. Those are all good hints to organize things, and cleaning out is probably the hardest job, but it can be done at any time. I have several pages of resources. This is more or less where I found stuff to put in here. Some of it were my own experiences. I could probably continue to talk for quite a while about not all amateur related things, but instances that I've run into that have, because of poor planning, have created more dilemmas or issues for people. I'm thinking of one, well, as I say, I could go on. I've got a couple of pages of those. And there was one article that lists a number of articles from QST that have articles, and again, that's a whole list of them. That chart and some of the comments came from a presentation from the Central Massachusetts Amateur Radio Association website that AB2XI had put together. His is probably a lot more detailed about selling equipment than what I have included, but that's a good resource. And again, clean out, organize, and I guess the other thing I always tell people, you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your family. And that's what I have. I haven't heard any questions. I'm obviously open for questions. I hope you learned a little bit tonight, or at least got you thinking about things. Either I put everyone to sleep or I'm not connected anymore.
Oh, you're here. You're still there.
Any questions from the room?
I have a couple of friends who live out 5 area code where I came from.
Check 1, 2. There we go. You got to talk into this one a little bit. Okay.
See, I need to stop sharing my screen, don't I?
Very good, very enjoyed it a lot. So, my wife's been bugging me to clean up the basement in the garage for like 20 years. I got a couple of friends who live out west in New Mexico, Pipeline, where I come from, and they're both single. As far as I know, neither one of them has any family. One of them has a brother that lives up in Idaho, who's got a lot of money. Beside the point. Anyway, so I wonder what's going to happen to their stuff when they pass away. I mean, I guess I've never asked them if they have wills or whatever, but they have no heirs and like say no spouses, so I guess it's gonna go to the state or something. I mean, I don't think they have a lot.
I'm sorry, but I'm not hearing that your comments very well at all, to be honest.
Turned up on there, I can't get that.
I just turned them off and went through.
Can you hear me now? Hello, test 1, 2.
Is that on?
Yeah, I guess you can't hear it. I don't know if you hear it.
Does the mic on your laptop work for him?
You could come.
I think that's what we're trying to do anyways, yell into the.
Sounds like he's too far from the mic.
Can you hear me there, Barry? Hello.
Okay, I stopped the screen sharing at least.
Okay.
So I can
Hello.
at least see a few people.
Can you hear me at all?
That's much better.
Okay, yeah, I'm David, KU5XD, and
Okay.
yeah, I've got a couple friends out in New Mexico. Like I say, they're both single. They've got no heirs that I know of and no spouses, and so I don't know I always wonder what's gonna happen to their stuff or whatever when they pass. I mean, somebody's gonna have to clean it out. I guess it's probably all gonna go in a dumpster or something, but I'm always wondering about that.
I mean, when you say you don't have any relatives, most states have if people don't have a will, they have a set progression. It goes, children, parents, siblings, it can go to cousins, it can go as far as they can trace people down. Very few people don't have any relative that they can find. And I guess if people like that, they should plan, if nothing else, for their own well-being as they get older, what's going to happen to them. And that's where the planning comes in. And if they are devoted to amateur radio, it would be nice if someone would think to them what they could do for an amateur radio club or another group.
Right, yeah, they could at least donate it to some other club or somebody that could make use out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a shame that no one seemed to know what's gonna happen to their stuff, whatever, and they're all, most of these guys, like most of us are in our 70s or whatever, so who knows how much time we have, so that's a problem.
I often tell people the best thing to do is to give, if you don't use it, give it away. My father-in-law would put things on the ping pong table in his basement and tell his 4 kids, come and get what you want. If you don't come in the next 2 weeks, it's going in the dumpster. And that's how he cleaned out his house. And I tell a lot of people, if you really want to give it to someone, give it to them while you're alive. That way you'll see them enjoy it.
Do some of these sites that you mentioned, do they take things that are more broadly related, more broader than just amateur radio? Like, for example, my dad, he passed away in the springtime and he was an electrical engineer. So he's got a bunch of radio gear, but he also has like an ancient Tektronix oscilloscope with tubes in it, I think. And
the one link was called Ham and Hi-Fi, and they had a variety of things. And the one that I saw, Carrying Transitions, which is a generic place. I mean, they had everything on that site, from amateur radio equipment, everything else.
Thanks.
Yes.
Now
good
I
evening.
can see you
My
all.
name
I
is-
should ask, how many people haven't had their wills looked at in the last 5 years?
Good evening, sir. My name is James Keller, W8WW. Having dealt with several estates in the past, how wary should someone be as a number of folks will come and want to buy, the entire estate? What are your thoughts on something like that?
Well, it obviously is the quickest way to get things out. And I suppose it comes down to how important is it to the family to maximize the dollar amount versus the time involved, because any other process is going to take more time. And obviously they're going to pay a discount for it normally, because they're going to look at it. And if they're going to be responsible for taking it out, they're going to pay themselves to do that work. And if you're talking, I suppose if they're going to take the whole house, everything in the house, that's one thing. If they're only going to piecemeal stuff in the house, that to me wouldn't be as attractive because it's still going to leave other things. You don't want someone to come in and take out the valuable things in the house and leave the stuff that still needs cleaned out. Would be my concern with that. I personally have not run into, well, for example, I'll give you an example. I have an estate right now pending, and it was a Catholic priest who died, who actually was an amateur radio operator too. It wasn't very big into the hobby, so, and I have not even seen what equipment he had, but in his will, he left everything to a charity. So, and his first executor has since passed away, so another executor got the job, and she ended up going to an auction company. They're not going to sell it, so everything is going to be auctioned, and by one auction company. It includes the contents of the house, an automobile or a couple automobiles, boats, cars, an airplane, but this one auction company was willing to take everything and sell it together. I have another company I use that does not deal with real estate as much, but he likes to take the smaller homes. He'll take stuff out, sort through it, collect it, and sell at a particular auction sale. Well, he'll combine it with other things. So as far as someone willing to come in and buy it as a whole house full of stuff as a package, I personally have not run into that. I would be careful, I guess, of the price, how quickly they need the money. That would all enter into, I think, making the decision.
Any other questions from the room?
No, it's muted.
Any questions online? All right. Barney, thanks very much for the presentation today.
Well, I hope you learned something. Is all that I'm concerned about.
I'm certainly going to do exactly what you said, clean out and organize, not necessarily for this reason, but it's certainly good to go through and see what
I used another example. A local ham had lived out of town for a number of years, kept his house here. When he moved back from the other home, they packed everything in boxes. And you can imagine that after he's been back 10 years now, most of those boxes were never opened. So he had a yard sale. And believe it or not, the yard sale didn't bring nearly what he expected. Things like clothes, he really almost had to literally donate them because no one wanted them. And I mean, even myself, I used to buy my mother, there was a brand of Christmas plate that came out every year. And my mother has been dead for 20 years. I have probably 25 of these Christmas plates sitting. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. And if I were smart, I would clean them out now. So it probably applies to all of us. It's probably the unusual person who has everything in order. But we can always hope. Otherwise, there won't be any work for us attorneys, I guess, either. So again, thanks for inviting me in. As I say, if you want to see the presentation, I made it available online. It was my website with September underlined 2022 PDF. It's there. The one from Dayton is there under a different name, but any questions? Excuse me?
Tried to get in that website, it would not go.
Okay, I got into it the other night, so I tried it. Email me and I'll send you I will be willing to send you the presentation. I have it. And actually I sent it to someone in your club already, so they have it also. In both a PDF and a PowerPoint present format.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, does your club conduct regular business now?
Yep, yes, sir.
And how long of a meeting do you normally run? I don't get too many other clubs these days, and I'm just sort of curious.
Give or take roughly an hour and a half, depending on what we have to go over.
Okay. Well, thank you and have a good evening.
Thanks again, Barney.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Barney.
Great, now that we got this working here. All right, we'll start with roll call. Ooh, that's a little loud. We'll start with the roll call here. Mike, Kilo Echo 8 Charlie Echo Hotel, and Mike will send it over to you and we're on the road.
And Mike, K8AGY.
Gordon, KD8 COJ.
Bill, 88 WA.
Chris, WA, WI8X. David, KE5XD.
Matt, KEWX.
Bob, KD8TL.
Dan, KPLW.
Dave, KE8ESU. Jerry, W8WQU. Art, W2EQX.
KESOL.
KE8AUL.
Chris,
Used to be in the
Yes, KTAS.
Shakespeare's kings and queens, and finally S words. Sue, where'd you?
No.
Little favorite. The musical score of the openings of film. Yes, Shakespeare 400.
I'm James Keller, W8WW.
Tanya works her magic as queen of intrigue. Microphone varies. Good. Let's go with writing influence 1200. Back in the day, feathers.
Mike, Jeff, KE8CRA. Stephen, KV8WCM.
John, WA8.
Kim, N8FNC.
Marcia, WA8. Sorry.
Was inspired by the glacier.
John, KN8B.
Marcia, WA8ZJU.
Is Blanc.
Zach, K8ZRY. Alpha Delta 8 Alpha Echo Hero.
Peter, November 8, Romeo, India.
Willie,
KD8ZPX.
Willie, Kilo Echo 8 Lima X-ray X-ray.
Robin, KD8ATJ.
David, W4FSW.
Patrick, KB8DGC.
James, W6AQT.
Ron, K8DTJ.
Is that everyone from the Zoom call?
I think we
Seems like it.
went through them all.
Yeah, I figured that was gonna be a lot more difficult on there. All right, on the air reports, we will start with anyone who's been on the air since our last meeting, which was in,
June.
wow, that's been a long time. If you've been on the air since June, put your hand up, keep it up until we get a count. And anyone online, if you have a camera, please wave at it. If you don't, please use one of the little hand icons that are down there and we'll get a count on you.
Who's counting?
17, 5, 7, 8, 9. Over here, Mike. 31, 32, 33,
Oh.
4, 6, 7, 8, 38. Oh,
Plus 5 on the screen. looks
He
like.
just counted the screen front mic.
Oh,
38. Okay.
all right, are we live? Okay, finally. I swear, by the end of the meeting, we'll get the audio sorted out. They've got some new equipment down here that we're not used to. All right, 35 is the count that I've got. Very good.
38.
Secretary's report, Mike, K8AGY, has that available upon request. Treasurer's report, Mr. Bill. Gotta try to work with this.
Hello there. At the June meeting, our balance was $9,963. We've had 3 new members join since then. We had the swap deposit return finally. So we had an income of $394. Expenses, badges, 4 badges. The subscription for Zoom for the year was $160. $75 for the 2-meter challenge. $100 for field day signage. State of Michigan renewal for $20, and the post office box for $156. So expenses were $612. So our ending balance for this meeting was $9,744.34. Any questions?
Mr. Hero, I know you're online there for a 2-meter net report. I don't know if you need to enable sharing for him specifically, Gordon, or if it's already
Set.
open.
Set.
Set, okay. Mr. Hero, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Sharing the screen, you guys see it?
Yep.
Thank you.
Nope.
So we have been having a pretty healthy participation of the net, and that's a Thursday, 8 p.m. net.
We lost your slide. We see your desktop now.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. I moved there, apparently it doesn't stay there, huh? Okay, sorry about that. We've been having a pretty healthy participation of the Thursday 8 p.m. LARC 2-meter net, and thank you for everybody for joining from time to time. These are just the statistics of what I keep for over time since I started my net manager duty. Last August 18th, we had a so-called LARC 2-meter net challenge night run by Sandy, aka KA, and she had 40 check-ins for her night at the LARC 2-meter net challenge night. And previous record was 39, made 2 years ago. This started as something that the Sandy and Keith, KEAU, was sort of going back and forth with, who get more check-ins, kind of things. So just a healthy competition thing. And we didn't do that last year. I thought it would be fun to have something like this. And also this year we had a prize given out, and it was given to Mo, K8BZJ, and Willie, KEALXX, I see it. And thank you for participating, and it was a great success and seems to instill or encourage people to join in the net afterward also. So we're probably looking forward to doing that next year. Okay, we're still looking for net volunteers to run the net control Thursday nights. And if you are able to help us out, just let me know. I'm sorry that I couldn't be on the meeting. It usually helps me to be there, to be in person, but yeah, I just had other things I need to do here. Also, I'm looking for discussion topics as always. Any topics would help. We had John send me a suggestion to do September is the National Preparedness Month, and we've been kind of using that as the month-long topic. And we're just covering like each segment of this whole preparedness. And it's been very helpful as well. EchoLink is back online. Just keep saying that because we used to have a different call sign before. Okay, and other activities we have on our repeaters, Wayne County repeater crawl run by Keith, KD8ZSK. He's running the Friday night, 7 p.m. on our 2-meter repeaters. There's a little website that you can go to get the information and sign up. Not signing up, but you can just go on the air and there's information on the website. The other thing is the KA-AUO Keys has been linking our D-Star repeaters on the 70 centimeter band. On Thursday, about 7 p.m. local time here, that so he's linking to, I think it's a 56 Bravo. I don't know if Keith is around. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. And so if you are monitoring our digital repeaters, you can actually hear and you can also participate in the Kentucky Digital Net through our digital repeaters. So you may want to give a shot. 2-meter net schedule is on the our website. There's a LARC 2-meter net right in the middle of the menu bar, what do you call it, in our website. And if you click that on the right side, there's a schedule there. Right now, there's nothing because I have not updated for upcoming weeks. And there's a NetLogger. We use NetLogger. People who use it, most of the time they like it because you can see who is on the net that checked in, and you can also make a little instant messaging between the stations on this NetLogger. And you may want to give a shot also. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir. Joe, next up is our LARC in the Park. For October 8th? Okay.
Yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit later.
Okay.
I'll send everybody an email.
October 8th is the next one coming up, and then after that is November 12th. November 12th, like we do every year, we're going to replace with our Dawson Special Event Station. All right, upcoming VE sessions for Mr. N8MR. The next one is November 9th by my list. Anything else on that topic tonight?
No,
All right, are they going well?
We had a drop in the number of people who are actually taking the test. That's because there are other clubs that are coming back online post-COVID.
So, well, that's good to hear at least. Okay, good. Good to see that there's other people out there testing as well. All right. Speaking of the Edmund Fitzgerald Special Event Station, that's going to be on November 5th at Dawson Great Lakes Museum on Belle Isle. We've got the Whiskey 8 Foxtrot Special Event call sign authorized for club members this year, October 30th through November 13th. As that event gets closer, we'll reach out with specifics on when we need some help for setup and operation and tear down. All right, one last piece of old business. We had mentioned in some of the other meetings, we didn't have a quorum for a couple of months here, so we haven't been able to vote on things. The legal expenses that we had, we weren't able to allocate the funding for, so the board's been covering that out of pocket. So now that we do have quorum tonight, I'd like to see if there's anyone that would like to put forward a motion to approve the expenses of $2,303.25. Is there anyone that would like to, Sandy, would like to make such a motion? Is there anyone that would like to second that? Mr. Keith. All right, it's been motioned and seconded to allocate the funding for our legal expenses of $2,303.25. All in favor, please raise a hand, and we will we'll sort out the Zoom in just a second here. It's just by a simple majority vote, and we certainly have that one there. Okay, fantastic. Are there any other pieces of old business tonight? Things that we brought up before that we need to bring up again? All right, moving on to new business.
Ed.
Yes, sir.
I hate to ask a question that everyone else probably knows the answer to. What is the legal expense for?
So we had a suit that was against the club a while back, and there's an awful lot of the costs associated with hiring a lawyer and the cost of getting that case dismissed.
Given the information about what that for, so is it done? Yeah.
There was a member that his membership was forfeited, and he felt that it was done incorrectly. So a suit was brought to try to settle that. All right, yep, no problem. In new business here, new members and license upgrades. Mr. Bill, I think we have at least one.
Three.
Three. Well, I'm very good at math. That's why I'm in radio.
Got the face for it too. Oh, hey.
Well, here again, well, this is since June. We had James Ryan, KEA, AAQ, join. We had Charles Deman, KCGD, and we had Steve Messina, KB8 WCM. So those are our three new members. We had in two license upgrades that I'm aware of. Chris Francis, NAPDL, got his extra. Chris, you got your extra, Chris Kenny.
April 5th.
Okay. Chris got a new call sign. He's now W1, no, yeah, WIX8X. How do you say that?
It's not easy. After being N8FCT for 34 years, I'm still learning.
Okay. So that's it for that. Reminder, 1st of October is renewals for 2023. You can go online or you can pay me by online. It'll be there's a fee attached. If you send me a check with your renewal information, then it's just $20 for renewals.
Great. Homework activities and helping hands. Standard disclaimer, we don't want to get on anyone's roof, so please don't reach out with those. But are there any activities that need some Helmering topics or some helping hands from the group? Radios that need programmed, anything like that?
No tower climbing.
Yeah, no tower climbing. So we joke about that, but we had a hot supper one day up on a roof for many, many hours. And ever since then, we've been getting lots and lots of requests. I know a guy with 3 towers. We have no idea how to bring them down. They're all in this postage stamp of a yard, so there's no way to bring them down without hitting every neighbor in the surrounding area. And they had to reach out to the club more frequently than we care for.
I'm sorry.
Clarify the November 9th for the next VE session. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, Mike? Okay.
Speaking of the devil, more tower work. Ooh, and that one needs permits. That's
No, he wants towers.
wants towers.
He wants.
Want to install a wind generator on top of a tower.
That's me.
Sorry, who?
That's me. I'm John Hanson.
John, if you could give us a quicker one than I could read. I read awful slow. What can we help you out with?
Well, I have this Windseeker wind generator. I want to mount it on top of my garage, and I've been looking at Craigslist. And they want an awful lot of money for crappy looking towers. I need a way to put it on top of my garage. Instead of having the joists 25 and every 60 inches, I put 1/4 inch plywood. It's very sturdy. I can put a tower on top of my garage.
I've seen towers on roofs before. It does work. I don't have a spare tower for it, but what kind of height do you have to have for the?
Oh, well. Gonna be mounted at east or it's I can't go that high. My garage is over 10 feet, so if I go 10 feet above. Well, the garage should.
Okay, I think a smaller tower would be perfect for that. Anyone that's got any of those to spare, please reach out to John, Whiskey Alpha 8 Pop-Up Golf Hotel. I assume you're good on QRZ?
What?
You're good on QRZ, contact information?
I had my license. QRZ, remind me QRZ.
Ham call sign lookup, essentially, quick bio pages for everyone. Okay. Anyone that thinks they could help out John, got him in the back of the room, grab his contact info, we'll see if we can help you out.
Another thing is I have a couple of walkie-talkies that I'm trying to start to do that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that program. Something either from there.
Okay, yeah, that one might be very easy, I'm sure. You could tell by how many people were familiar with the name. We're very familiar with Baofangs in this room. We should be able to help you out with that. Yep. Anything else in homework activities, helping hands?
Hi, recently I moved from Canton to Livonia. I built a condo that was 40 inches. And I have an HF rig, which is like 25, maybe 28 years old. Forest like that, and that's where the box that I pulled out about a year ago. My license expired, I renewed, got a call sign back. Anyway, it's a brick home, 1 story. And I don't have any idea how to get coax into the house. On the sides of the house, there's aluminum siding, but if I drill a hole, I'm crawling on insulation and 2x8s, whatever they are. Really don't want to do it. So this is research on YouTube, and someone said that they had contacted an electrician. Because one of the common duties of drilling concrete is to mount a electrical box on the outside or any kind of box that you can run your foot around the bottom. And I can't imagine the cost, 1 and 2. Anyone have any other ideas as far as getting flex into a house? Concrete from the bottom all the way to the top. Side of the house.
Basically, if you've got a window that you use a lot, and then Jay and other companies sell pass-through, open the window like 1 inch in there to the barrel, 3 or 4 inch barrel. Shut the window. That's one way.
I did see those on the laptop on the couch with my wife, and I said, "Oh, look, honey." Yeah.
One thing I did was last year had basement windows replaced, and I got glass blocks, and on one of them I had an extra dryer vent block put in, and I'm just using that to sink coax into my basement.
I do have a dryer vent. Is there enough room in there next to the
Well,
windows?
not the same vent as the dryer.
Oh, another one over that.
There's like heat in there, and right. But if you had a basement window and you wanted to glass block in there, get it with either a dryer vent or something.
I've got one where it's actually a little rectangular piece to open up, right? I took that out.
Well, yeah, I've got that too. Just a small vent. Yeah.
Let's bring it all the way down. It doesn't matter. 1965. I get an older house that had a milkshake, and I actually just go through the milkshake.
Get together with.
It sounds like there's a couple of good ideas there. They all sound like drilling holes, unfortunately. Certainly the camp that I'm in, but let's definitely stick around after. I don't know what time we have to be out tonight, Bill, but we should have a few minutes to stick around and bounce some more ideas for that.
Another half hour at least.
Half hour. Okay. James, what do you need help with?
Yeah, Michael, in regards to both of these needs, in the Constitution before, there was a provision that all equipment inventory that we made available or posted. The club had a gin bowl and some masonry bits, if I remember right. They, who knows what the previous administrations have done with these. Is there an equipment list that is available online?
Online, no. Certain things that we had that were member protected because we switched over to a new website system. We don't have forums, cork boards. I think the roster was available there. Photo galleries, I think, were public. But Mike at AMR is our equipment manager. You can talk to him and see what you need there, info-wise. As far as gin pole, I know that's something that you brought up many, many years ago. As far as I know, we don't have a gin pole. If we did, that was a decade ago, well before my time. All right, anything else on helping activities or helping hands?
Just a quick question, any restrictions in Livonia on antennas? I'm not putting up a tower, just drag poles for 40 wire for me.
I think 75 feet.
Anything 50 feet and under, you're okay. Up to 75 feet, you can do that in a residentially zoned area, but you have to have 2/3 of your money property.
Okay, so 49.9.
Yeah.
That's the magic number. All right. Anything for the cork board tonight? Cork boards for anyone wishing to buy or sell amateur radio equipment or accessories. As always, please discuss prices off the air. Any items for the cork board? Still no one wants to sell me that 7,300. Alrighty. Upcoming meetings. The next general meeting is going to be on October 24th. Location is to be determined. We will let you know, of course, in the broadcast email there for that. Next board meeting is October 10th. And as always, the LARC Internet is on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Anything further before we close tonight?
Hey.
One thing that we, so speaking of that last note there, that the location is to be determined, we're looking for different places to have these meetings, and unfortunately, a lot of places will let us in, but they want to charge us. The proposal is that we would hold a quick vote on appropriating up to $50 for a meeting for the, it looks like we're only looking for the October meeting at this point. Would anyone like to make a motion to appropriate up to $50 for the October meeting location? James, all right, do we have anyone to second that? Cliff?
The problem here, folks, is I cannot get the police this room every time we have a meeting. So there's definitely next month, maybe January is in jeopardy. So that's why we're asking this. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get back in the library. The library says that they have a problem because they don't have maintenance staff. And so they have told us at this point, they don't know when we can go back in there. And getting into the Plymouth Library has been an issue as well because they will only allow us to schedule that 3 months in advance. And
They book up quickly.
Mike tried to get in there for these 3 months, and within a half hour after it opened, they were gone. So somebody was sitting there waiting.
Have you tried the Redford Library? They have an upstairs.
I did look at the Redford Library, and it also cost, if I remember correctly, it was either 20 or 30 bucks an hour. Pretty much every library around us costs about 20 to 30 bucks an hour.
that was another problem.
Anybody look at the schools? We looked at, especially if it's, say, a STEAM school.
If you know of one and can make contact and let us and give us that information, we would appreciate it. Because we've been looking and we have been unable to find anybody.
Yeah, I know
Comment.
that's behind the scenes that you guys don't get to see, but the struggle to find a meeting location is always ongoing.
If anybody's an alumni of the school, try contacting them as an alumni.
So can we have a vote?
Yep, we had a motion and a second there to appropriate up to $50 for the October meeting location. All in favor, please raise a hand. All right, motion passes.
We'll get you a place.
And just to say, because I've looked at some places, you also need to make sure that they have internet access and some sort of screen that we can hook into. There's a couple places I've checked out, a couple churches even I've checked out, that's where the problem is, they don't have the technology.
All right, we'll take one more standby for any other further business. before we close down tonight.
Hey, Bill. Mr. Allen,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna send you an email with a suggestion. I have a place in Old Village in Plymouth that I could secure for those meetings. I'll send you an email with some info, and if you guys get desperate and you need it, it's a nice place, so I think we can hold up to about 60 people. And it has internet and a kitchen, and it would provide everything we need, but it's probably not the ideal location. It's in the Old Village in Plymouth.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
All right, I'll send you an email.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be awesome.
All right, one last call for any further business before we shut it down tonight. Once, twice sold. Thank you all very much for coming out tonight.
I didn't say it was except for
Thank you for providing the Zoom link.
You're welcome, Marcia.
Old Village sounds nice.
What?
Old Village sounds nice.
Yeah, but it's in Plymouth, right?
Yeah, if we'll cross 275.
What?
If people will cross 275.
Hi, Mr. Ryan. I don't remember.
Okay.
I didn't know if they said something about a ban.